Ah,
Road Break family, new year, new decade, and more Road Break, and we're back. I'm doing something out of the blue road today because normally I'm not here for Dynamite, but Jean Paul said, we need to do this together, and
yep.
I got to support my brother, so we're going to do this. As you can see in the screen, please subscribe for the video. Uh, we just want the family to grow a little more. We want a lot more of you to just become members of this family. And like I said today, before we have Dynamite. So thank you everybody that is been subscribing. And let's get to it, Jean Paul. How was the show for you?
The show, it
You
was
do
good, and
normally Dynamite, so I
yeah,
want
I
your
was gonna say
thoughts
the,
about
the
that.
show was good, and it was really our only choice because there was no NXT this week. Now there was NXT, but all they did was they gave out awards, and we posted on our Facebook page, who won the awards and everything. But to just go through them, Keith Lee was the breakout star. Future star was Dakota Kai. Women superstar was Shayna Baszler. The male was Adam Cole. The tag teams were Undisputed Era, and the feud was Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole. And I think that was it. And then they just had the Dusty Classic they announced.
Yes, and I think that like pretty much all the winners were kind of like the road break winners award.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
So they
because
were
we
pretty similar to what we said. So we know that we're in the right path. We know that
exactly.
whatever we say is the truth. We're truthful to what we say, and WWE is thinking alike.
And
So that makes me feel kind
Who
of
do you
happy.
think for all the teams announced? It seems it's kind of like okay, for like the NXT, like the normal NXT, it's the Forgotten Sons. And who else is it? Undisputed Era, and then
And
it's Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne, which is a pretty cool team. And I
that's a
feel like
pretty cool
that's
team. Yeah,
because they're not really doing anything with Pete Dunne, or not with Pete Dunne, with Matt
Matt
Riddle.
Riddle.
So I don't know. He's another one that I always say could be in the Royal Rumble, sleeper to go up and beat Brock Lesnar. Now, do you want him to be your WWE champion? I do, but is that what Vince McMahon wants? I don't know. But the one thing I wanted to quick touch on was Kushida, who his mystery partner is going to be.
Yeah,
Like,
like that's
who do
kind
you
of
think?
interesting, right? So
Yeah,
I
I think
wonder
I
who
think it
could
could
that be.
be. I think it could be Cameron Grimes, just because they had that feud, and then I think that would be a cool dynamic because that would be the team that I would have win.
Oh yeah, I really think that like they could do that just because, like you said, they were feuding for this for the last I would say the last month on NXT, and I just feel that like it will be a really good pair up just because based on the feud, and if
Yeah,
they win this, it will be really cool because it will be brand new winners. Because
yeah,
Undisputed Era, I don't think they should win. I
no.
don't think they should be in the tournament at all.
No, and then I mean that's just because they have no tag teams. Breezango probably would have been in it, but they're hurt.
Yeah, you like you said, like you reported, like in the like 2 weeks ago when we did the
Yeah,
NXT review. Yeah, Fandango is indeed he's hurt.
yeah,
So that of course, that's gonna like end up hurting the both of the both guys, and that's kind of sucks for Tyler Breeze because I
yeah.
feel
That's what I.
Tyler Breeze, like he deserves better. He's a good wrestler and he's
Yeah,
charismatic too.
but because of all that, like we said, they just went over all that, had the awards, so there was no real show for NXT besides that, which that to me is just YouTube worthy. You just go on YouTube, you watch the videos, and you're done.
Oh yeah,
The main thing we wanted to see this week was AEW, and for me, it was a good show. It was definitely, it kind of got the taste out of your mouth last week when they had the little, the fake punches, and even Jim Ross said it was the drizzling shits.
oh yeah, like
Those were his
everybody, there
exact
was so
words.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was
even
so much backlash.
yeah, from even people that work for AEW, not just like us fans and people, outside of W or outside of AEW. You had people actually in the promotion, you know, just talking so bad about it. And I think this episode rectified a lot of that. But when the show opened, it was a lot of, you heard from the Elite, the Bucks, Cody. It just like they were going over their thoughts, and it was showing highlights from this past, I say year of AEW, but I think they had 12 weeks of television.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
not really like a whole like year's worth, but then they showed some stuff from their pay-per-view events and things like that. And just kind of like hyping up like this is the new year, blah 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 for AEW. And the one thing going into the new year is they pretty much wiped all the records. So now there's like two records. Now there's going to be your all-time record, which is every single year added up, and then there's just like a yearly record. So John Moxley, it's like, oh, people were worried, like, oh, he's the number one contender. Why would you wipe the records clean when we're in the middle of a feud? So, like, is he still the number one contender, or what's the point? And they said, like, oh, he is still the number one contender, but it's just like the new record. I feel like they didn't really think it out. I feel like they just wanted to do something cool and, like, oh, like, we're just going to do this new thing to make it feel sports oriented, make it feel different, when they should have waited until their actual, like, whenever their first episode of AEW Dynamite was. That's when they should have reset. They should have went a full year. Like, it doesn't have to be January 1st. It's not like WrestleMania. Like, it's not like WrestleMania is on January 1st, and that's the start of the new year. Like, the
Oh
start
yeah.
of the new year is technically that Raw after Mania, but that's not January 1st. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have it line up. So I don't like how they did the whole, like, oh, we gotta wipe, and I don't even understand why you have to wipe the records clean.
Oh yeah, like I just don't get that, because to me, like, they should just keep the records like itself, because it should just keep piling up,
Yeah, but like
and
I
like,
mean, I do agree, because it's not like, years and years and years going on. It's like, oh, John Moxley is 320 some wins to, like, 42 losses, and it's like, three draws. Like, I understand, like, kind of refreshing it, but after 12 weeks, to me, made no sense at all. It should have
yeah,
been
like it feels rash, and like you said, it seems like they didn't think this through like they should have done,
yeah,
because like you said, 12 weeks, like, really is not even a whole year. They
no,
should have waited till the first year of Dynamite, and then they should have, like, okay, we're gonna reset everything.
yeah.
But
They
especially, for
essentially,
example, see, like, there was like the fatal forward for the women, right?
yeah.
And then they said, well, and then Riho retained. We're gonna go over the whole show, but I'm just saying Riho retains, and then she goes, and then she's gonna go face the number one contender, Chris Statlander.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
they screwed that whole thing up. I even, like, tweeted at them. Obviously, like, nothing was said in response, but I was like, Hikaru Shida was supposed to be the number one contender a couple weeks ago, and then she wasn't. Like, she just wasn't. I don't know what happened or whatever. They said, oh, because of something with AEW Dark, and I tweeted at them. I said, you need to make up your mind. Does AEW Dark count or does it not count? Because some weeks they say it counts, other weeks they're like, oh yeah, it has nothing to do with our actual show and number one contenderships. So Hikaru Shida was the number one contender. Then she wasn't. Then it was Chris Statlander. And it's like, I feel like they don't know what they're doing. And it's because, like we said, we're going to go over the whole show. But Britt Baker says to the champion, you're never here. So how can
yeah,
you schedule matches and stuff when the champion is never there?
yeah. So see,
So,
that was like a really cool part of the show, at least a good promo from
yeah.
Britt Baker. And like, for example, I saw like a lot of people tweeting and Facebook and all of our social media. They said, like, it's legit how, like, Britt Baker is a good wrestler, but she always gets the one that gets pinned.
Yep.
Why can somebody else? Why Hikaru Shida should have been the one getting the pin? I
Yeah, that's, I
understand the
mean, I
fact
know.
no Nyla Rose, but still,
Mhm.
like, to me, the whole match was not as good as they should have. They should have had it.
Yeah,
I was
but
actually hoping for a title change at this point, but it didn't happen. Like, I don't
yeah, so
understand why Rico is still the champion. To be honest,
yeah, but we'll get into that more when we get to that match. But yeah,
let's
so
start the show, Jean Paul.
yeah, so we just had to get all the housekeeping and all that stuff out of the way. So then one thing, Tony Schiavone wasn't there, so Taz was on commentary. I like Taz on commentary. I thought all three guys, nobody really spoke over each other. Every guy, like, they just let each other speak when someone had something to say, and it was real smooth transition for Taz in there. And then they go over the whole loaded card, and we get to the first match, Darby Allin versus Cody. And we saw the debut of the head coach of the Nightmare Family, Arn Anderson. What do you
Arn
think of that?
Anderson is
What do
back.
you think of that being with Cody? To me that's weird. I feel like that you could have put Arn Anderson with somebody else to get that person over. Instead you put them with Cody, who's already over, and it just
My thoughts on that, I just want to say, like, we know that, like, Cody's, like, helping these guys out just because they were WCW originals.
yeah.
They were never WWE,
Oh
breed
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
They were never
exactly.
there. So I think that, like, that's why Cody just tries to, like, do a favor to this guy, Diamond Dallas Page. I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Sting shows up out of nowhere. Ric Flair could showed up just because they
Yeah,
were
his
all
contracts.
WCW owned
Ric
originals.
Flair's contract is up. I think in a couple months. They said.
Yeah. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up on AEW. But like I said to you, it's just mainly because they all have that vibe of WCW. And it's like, probably, hey, they all work with my dad. My dad loved these guys. And I'm going to give them a shot in the show just because, so they get some kind of exposure, I guess.
Yeah.
Do I think is cool? No, just because is Arn Anderson, and I don't see the logic why you will pair him with Cody.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, if you would have put him, because now obviously they're not feuding anymore, but I would have loved it if it was like if you really did something with that Shawn Spears, Joey Janela feud, and then you had Joey Janela come out with Arn Anderson.
Yeah, that will be
Now,
a
that
lot
would have been
better.
something cooler, but,
Or for example, like you could put Arn Anderson with like for example, like a Darby Allen backwards, like a
hmm
Darby Allen. I know that the character itself is kind of dark and everything, but use a guy that like you're going to enhance with an Anderson. Cody is
yeah.
already a made man. You
That's
don't
that's
need
that,
an Anderson.
that's my main thing. It's like he's already made what does he need? Is Arn Anderson gonna like kick Wardlow's ass? Like, no. Like, like I don't understand why he needs to be, because he's feuding with MJF, Cody. So it's like,
Yeah,
why? Like, what's Arn Anderson gonna do? Like, I
is he
don't
gonna do
understand.
the spine buster and then? I
Yeah,
don't get
like
it. I don't get it.
so. So we go into this match, and this was obviously going in. Last week they teamed up, and it's like, oh, is this going to actually be a team? Now it's not a team, and I think next week Cody's teaming with Dustin, so now he's teaming with his brother again. Even though 2 weeks ago he says he has no one, so I don't know, he's all over the place. But anyway, so to start this match, Cody goes for quick shoulder blocks, covers on Allen, back and forth. Darby counters Cody's drop down slap. He follows back and forth with some roll up attempts. Pretty much a stalemate between both guys early on. They're kind of just they keep saying how like, oh, Allen went the distance against Cody, in their first match and everything. Commentary's really just saying Cody's stronger, but Allen's quicker. It's that kind of chess game.
It was like that, yeah. And also, like for example, like the one thing is like Tazing at some point in the commentary, Taz said Rhodes, and right away he went like Cody. Like
hmm
I don't know if you were able to call on that because he goes Rhodes was about to do this, and like no, Cody, because
Oh
he's not
yeah,
allowed us to say Rhodes, because of the
yeah,
rise of his last name.
yeah. No,
So
I didn't actually catch that little detail, but I mean I wouldn't be surprised if like they mess up. Like they mess up, and not like it's their fault because it's WWE being petty for copyrighting somebody's last name.
yeah,
It's his last
exactly,
name.
exactly. Like
That would be
it's
like if
like
I got signed by them and they were like, "Oh, you can't use Leek."
yeah, and like and so we got to just call you Jean Paul.
Yeah.
So I just don't. The one thing I want to say before the match, though, I really like the introduction of Darby Allin, like the
Oh, where
black
he
and
had the
white video
mask.
package, mask, and like for
Yeah.
example, like the piano, like
hmm
very reminded me of my in my Immortal by the Evanescence,
Oh
like that
yeah.
whole aura. Like I'm a big fan of black and white, and the use of that is something that I really really appreciate. So moving back to the match itself, like you said, like the whole theme of the match was like they go Darby went to distance with Cody. So it's like,
Yeah.
what does Cody need to do to put Darby Allin away?
Yeah. So and then like to just skip ahead a little bit more in this match, Allen he then removes the turnbuckle pad, and Cody sends Darby Allin to the outside, and then they had like the ramp. It was kind of like on the corner. So like he sends him over the ring, and then he lands on the ramp because it was on level with the apron. So he lands on the outside, but he lands on his feet. More back and forth. Cody hits a snap power slam. Punches in the corner on Allen. Cody hits a springboard cutter. I refuse to call it the Cody cutter. I think that sounds lame. Springboard cutter for me.
They said that,
Um,
yeah, they did say that the Cody Cutter, and I'm like,
yeah,
are you kidding me?
that sounds like something out of like a children's thing. So I was
I'm
like,
like,
nah, I'm good with that. But
I'm just say Cutter.
yeah. So then Cody he gets a figure four on Allen, keeps pressure on him during the commercial break. I'm surprised they actually had a commercial during usually they don't during the first match,
Yeah,
probably because this one went so long.
yeah,
It was a really good match though. I'm not saying like, oh, it went long and it was boring. It was I thought this was a really good match. And then slams Allen on the ramp. Allen hits a code red, and then off the top rope, or hits a code red off the top rope for a near fall. Then Darby hits a stunner. He goes for a coffin drop, and hits it on Cody on the apron. They were trying to say Cody got his knees up. I think that was just like a reaction. I don't know. Like they were saying he did get his knees up, and then it looked like he didn't. But that was a story of things to come. Because then Allen, he counters a cutter back. Then they're back in the ring. Allen counters a cutter. Cody counters a stunner and hits a crossroads for a near fall. That was
that
a
was
really
cool.
that was
That
really
whole
good.
sequence was really cool. Yeah,
I'm
that was,
surprised he kicked out of the crossroads.
yeah, like
No,
Cody,
because
like see
that's
for
like his
example,
finisher. That's like
yeah,
his main finisher, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So like it's kind of like is good and bad in a way. Why
Yeah.
is it good? Because for example, like you're making Darby really like look really really strong. You're giving the guy the power to be able to kick that out of Cody Rhodes' signature main finisher
Hmm.
is the Crossroads. He's been doing that forever. And bad because you make the move kind of look weak
Yeah,
because it's
like
not able to
yeah,
put
like
people in.
I understand this is like a big feud, and they're like you said, they're really trying to get Allen over, but that would be like if The Rock kicked out of the Stone Cold Stunner, like he hit the
Well, like
stunner,
at
and it's
the
like
and it
and
did
it,
happen at some but like
oh
you
yeah,
said,
yeah,
like, the amount of the rivalry, is like you don't just do that unless it's like that
like a
big of a rivalry.
WrestleMania or
And
something.
also, and you just said it, at a big pay-per-view.
Yeah,
You just
I mean
don't do it,
obviously these
on a
guys don't
regular
wrestle at
dynamite.
yeah, yeah. But and then towards the end, like right at the end of this thing, Cody charges, and then Allen moves out of the way. He hits that exposed turnbuckle, and then he falls down. So then Allen goes up for the coffin drop, and then but Arn Anderson gets on the apron and he's like slapping his knee.
Distracting the ref.
Well, he was actually telling him to get his knees up. He was
Oh,
telling
see that
Cody.
that's I guess legit. That's
Yeah, he
legit
was
in a
telling
way.
Cody to get his knees up, but the thing is that like unless he was yelling it, which I know I've never heard him talk, but from what people say, Arn Anderson has a very soft-spoken voice. He's not very loud. He almost sounds like a teddy bear. So I can't imagine that it didn't look like he was yelling. So I don't know if Cody heard him, but Cody got the knees up, and then he rolled up Darby Allin, which a great match. I don't like roll-ups, but like I said, they trying to keep Darby Allin strong. I don't know how would you have booked it? I think Cody needed the win here. I didn't want it to be. I thought it was going to be another tie. And I'm thinking, please don't give me another tie. I want there to be a winner, but I think Cody needs the win to go, moving forward with this feud with MJF. And also Darby Allin's one of those guys where he can lose, and then if he comes out next week, he could win something, and the crowd, they're not going to lose any interest in him.
Yeah, like for example, like they were always like I like what your thought process right now because it's like yeah, MJF is and Cody is going to be probably the main feud, aside from Jericho and Moxley. So
Hmm.
they need to make these guys look like two powerhouses, like two like really really strong both of them. They need to come out from this paper when the paper before Revolution. They need to be hot as hell.
Yeah.
So I really understand the idea, and also like you, I'm not a big fan of the roll up, but in this case, I understand the roll up because see, like especially Ann Anderson saying, "Hey, leave, put your legs up." It's like
Hmm.
you're already telling the guy to counter the move, and because of that, you're going to be so weak that he's going to be able to roll you up.
Yeah.
So it is true. It is they did this right. I mean, like for you, for me, the ending, I didn't like the ending too much, but I understood, and it was good because Cody looks strong.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. And like you said, Darby is the kind of guy that like probably mid card. When what they need to do, Jean Paul, is this, they need to come out with like a mid card title, but I mean ASAP. It's a brand new year, first show of the year. Come out with like a new title. Give me a new title, so you give all these guys that you have in the back burner. Janela, you have Sean Spears, you have Darby, you
Hmm.
have Havoc that we haven't seen in forever.
Yeah.
Luchasaurus,
Jungle Boy's one of those guys
Jungle Boy,
too.
all these guys, you
Hmm.
know, why they need to have, a mid title so they can actually fight and they have a place in the show. Because right
Exactly.
now they don't have a place in the show. It's like some shows they're there, some shows they're not there. So I think that like they need to start doing that. That way, for example, Darby gets a meaningful win. Let's say against Jungle Boy, for example. See, that will be a legit match.
Hmm.
You know,
They should have
both
something
guys.
where they should create. I don't know if WWE still has the Internet Championship copyrighted from when Zack Ryder had that from his YouTube channel, but that's what they should do. They should create some kind of title that's just defended on AEW Dark or something and do, I mean, I know that's just on YouTube and it's like, why wouldn't you get that on? It can also be on Dynamite, but it also like has to be defended on AEW Dark. Like
Yeah,
kind
of
of do
course.
something like that. Make like an internet title or like a television, do some kind of title, but um, we'll
Well,
see.
yeah,
I
like
think they
you
will
said,
at
like
some I think they will at some point. They're just
they need
I
to do that
yeah.
because, like I said, like Darby needs those kind of wins because the guy is like really over with the crowd. Like
Hmm.
like everybody says, it's like a younger Jeff Hardy. They had the
Yep.
aura of Jeff Hardy. Face paint. He takes his shirt off. The girls are like freaking, oh my god, he's no shirt. And also like the guy's quick, like a lot
Hmm.
of springboard moves. He's like able to do all those things. So I really feel that like him losing is not a big deal. He
No.
can recover. What in the next match. Hopefully, we keep seeing these guys. In in the next Dynamites and everything because like I said, they don't have a regular place in the show. That's what I
Yeah.
want to say. So moving
So
on.
then moving on, then we get Jen Decker. She interviews SCU, and SCU, they say that everybody wants, to step up to them. Everybody wants a piece of them after their tag team belts. They say the Dark Order, the Lucha Bros, blah, 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 go through all the teams, private party. Um, and they keep making a lot of football references. They were kind of, even though I'm a fan of football, they were kind of losing me here because SCU is one of those teams, besides Christopher Daniels, he's good on the mic. But the other two, Kazarian and Sky, it's like they do their best talking in the ring. And I feel AEW's fans are smart enough that they can appreciate that. So just they keep trying to give these guys mic time, and I just don't really care for anything that they like to say too much on the mic. I'd rather just see them go out there and wrestle. But Sammy, he interrupts them, and he calls out Christopher Daniels. He's like, oh, I see what these two guys have. They have the belts. He's like, but what do you have? Do you got anything left? Blah, 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 calls him out. And then Daniel says, well, like, listen here, son, like, we'll see what I have left, something like that. So they're going to have a match next week. And I don't know what you're going to do with that. If this could be something where, I don't know because I feel like if you're going to have Daniels win, then Guevara's just back to being a loser. But if he beats him, is SCU going to get somehow involved? The other two members, and then you have the Inner Circle maybe taking the tag team belts. I don't know what you're going to do. Like or is this just going to be a one-off match? But it should be a decent match next week between these two.
Yeah, like I just don't know the idea behind this pair up. Like I thought that like the Inner Circle would just be making fun of everybody, but I
Mm-hmm.
just don't know why Sammy Guevara will go against Christopher Daniels. I still don't know why the reasoning of this pair up,
Yeah, that's the
but
only thing. That's what I mean. It confuses me. I was like, I don't understand, but it'll be just a pretty good match. Like it won't be a bad match, but I don't get it.
yeah, I don't get it. Like I don't get why, but I mean I know it's going to be a good match. Probably like again, Daniel is going to start being putting over like Guevara. I think so,
Mhm.
just because of what happened in this week that we're going to talk about. So maybe
Yeah,
he's, for example, like let's say he got the win over Dustin. How about he gets the win over Daniels? He could be like a younger version of Randy Orton. The legend killer. Hey, he
yeah.
went
Which I hope
Rhodes.
not, because I mean, Sammy, like I said, he's so good in the ring, and maybe this is him just being his character. Maybe I'm just a loser for getting worked, for being worked. But he is just so. Every time he speaks, he's just to me, he's so annoying.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe that's what he's trying to do.
yeah,
So
because like
if that's the case, then he's doing his job right.
Yeah, because Jericho is a heel that it's like you. I mean, we love him, but like if you take that away, like just the nostalgia reasons for liking him, like he's a good heel. He says the right things to like really make your blood boil and you get angry. Like Sammy, I get angry because I'm like, this guy's like an idiot. I mean, now he has a win, but before it's like, dude, you're 0-7. Like, who you eat? Like, why are you even here?
Yeah, I mean,
And
I understand. I understand what you're saying. So
but
I just, like I said, I don't know what the whole thing with that, but we'll see. We'll see what comes out of that. We'll
then
see what comes out of that.
next, I wasn't expecting this to be the second match on the card, but we get Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida versus Britt Baker versus Riho for the AEW Women's Championship. So this was another one that was actually better than I thought. I didn't think that this was going to be as good. It just the ending, kind of similar to the first match. So to go through here, Rose grabs the belt. She beats down Baker and Riho. Shida uses the kendo stick, starts whacking Rose right
See,
before.
Jean Paul, like 1 second, just right there. I just don't understand. Like, okay, the match is not even started, right?
Uh-huh.
Why are you using toys already? Shouldn't that be like where like you disqualify the match right away? I just didn't get that.
Yeah, but then they used tables and stuff in the match, so it must have been because it was a multi-man. It was just no DQ, I guess.
I guess, but you know what I mean? Like, okay, like right away you start like using toys. I just
Yeah,
didn't get that. I
but they
was like,
know. But like I said, this crowd again, and I'm not saying this to like shit on them, but the crowd is a little bit marky, where like they see something cool, like they see toys, and they'll be like, "This is awesome." They won't even be like you and question, like, "Wait, is this a no DQ? Like, what's going on?" Like,
I just,
you know,
as soon as like she's grabbing the title, I'm like, okay, what's going on?
yeah,
Ref, you're gonna do something about it. I get it. Like Fatal 4-Way is supposed to be no DQ, But normally in any single no DQ, like the match starts and then later you'll see the toys. I mean, they
Yeah,
started out different, but at least for me, I was just wanted to see what was going on because the ref didn't even do anything to stop, and neither one of them
yeah.
when they were using the toys. But go ahead.
So then after she gets her ass beat by the kendo stick, Rose just pretty much just like lays there, rolls out of the ring, whatever happens. So then we get a bunch of offense by the three smaller women, back and forth. Rose pulls out Sheeta from the ring, grabs a table, and then Riho hits a cross body, but Rose moves out of the way, so she just ends up taking out Sheeta. Baker and Rose fight, a spine buster by Rose onto Baker. Riho tries to fight Rose, but that ends how we all think it would. She just swats her away like a fly. Samoan drop by Rose onto Baker. Then Rose power bombs Riho onto Baker, and she tries to pin, but Sheeta breaks that up. Rose then drapes Sheeta over the ropes and hits a flying guillotine knee. That was a really cool spot.
That was really cool.
Nyla
That was
Rose
a
is
beautiful spot.
really, really like agile for how big she is.
Great
You know
wrestler.
what I mean? Yeah.
Really, like for example, to me, like I know that like she's not as heavy as Nia Jax, and
Mhm.
I'm not saying that to be
Yeah, 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 yeah.
insulting or anything. I'm just saying weight numbers in
Mhm.
numbers. I'm just just putting numbers out there. She is really really agile,
Oh my
and the
god.
stuff
Yeah,
that
yeah,
she
like
can do,
the swan. I think she went for a swanton later in the match.
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
she does it. She tried for a swanton. Of course, she missed, but she did a swanton beautifully.
Yeah.
So the woman is really, really good at what she does. And I was actually hoping for her to win. I remember texting you and I said, who do you think? And I said, either Hikaru Shida or Nyla Rose.
Yeah, and I was thinking my pick beforehand was Riho retains or they do the upset with Nyla Rose, but
Yeah.
I didn't I if any four of these women, I mean Riho needs to lose it or Riho just needs to be in AEW full time. I'll take either or because even though she looked a little bit more believable in this match, but still I need to see more movesets and I need to see not a roll up victory, but getting back into this, we'll get there. Then Rose, she hits a senton through Sheeta on that table. That was a really good spot. I thought Sheeta was done for from this match at this point. But then Riho stomps Rose. Baker hits a DDT followed by a lockjaw, but she couldn't get the lockjaw in just because of the size of Nyla Rose.
Yeah.
Then Baker gets a triangle, but then obviously Rose powers her up, hits a power bomb, and then a pin attempt is broken by Riho. Riho fights off Rose, two stomps, and then a pin attempt, and that was broken up by Baker. A
Yep.
swinging neck breaker for a 2 count by Baker, and then Sheeta hits a suplex. I think, she suplexes Baker from the second rope, and then suplexes Riho into Rose in the corner. Back breaker on Baker. Yeah, that's kind of try saying that 10 times in a row.
Yeah.
Suplex by Rose onto Sheeta, then slams her onto Riho. Sheeta tries or slams Riho onto Sheeta, and then that's when Rose tried for that swanton, but both of the women moved out of the way, and Riho hits the double knees, and then Sheeta hits I think it was a tiger bomb or like a tiger driver or something
It
onto
was a
Rose.
Tiger Driver, yes.
Yeah.
It was a Tiger Driver. She did it good. Like Hikaru Shida is like a really great wrestler.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
she.
just hoping for her because she's good,
Mhm.
but I don't know what they're trying to do with the women's with the women's division. But go along, go
Yeah,
along.
so then this was right at the end. So then she hits a tiger driver on the Rose, and then Baker hits a super kick on Sheeta, and then after the super kick, that's when Riho rolls up Baker for the win. So that was pretty much the end. Like we said, it wasn't of course it couldn't have been something where it was like she super kicks her and then Riho hits like a meteora and then like a stomp or something for the win. It had to have been a roll up. It just here it is.
Unfortunately, that's how she wins every single match. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to troll us. I don't know if that's how limited she is in the ring. Because to me, Rio and Finn Balor are very alike, with the exception that Finn Balor does way more moves than Rio.
Yeah,
But the repetition of the stumps to me is very annoying, just for the fact that like it just shows how limited she is.
but
Even
that's
her
like
finisher is the coup de
yeah.
grace.
To me, I don't remember her match with Emi Sakura at I think it was what Full Gear.
It was full gear, yeah.
To me, because that was a bullshit match because it was like 2 weeks before she even had an opponent, and then it was like 2 weeks before Full Gear, and then it's like, oh yeah, her teacher, I guess. Yeah, here we go. That's a worthy opponent, but she just hasn't been on TV enough. I don't know what her moveset is. besides chops, like are not even chops, like just like slaps, strikes, whatever you want to call it. And like she throws people into corner. She has double knees, the double stomp, and a roll up. I don't even know what her moveset is.
Well, and that's one of the things. Like, she's not there on a regular
Yeah,
basis. Like you said, you don't know what her moveset is. You don't also, like, the woman, at least in this match, didn't look as bad. Why? Because there were three more women to
yeah.
support her. So,
And that's
of
yeah,
course,
and that's the thing. And if she's legit, like in Stardom or wherever else she wrestles in Japan, that's great. But she's the AEW Women's Champion, so how about being legit over here?
exactly. And like I said, like, I really appreciated the work that, like, Britt Baker did.
Uh huh.
This was one of her best matches in AEW so far.
Yeah,
Because
and
her
Hikaru, and
timing and everything,
yeah,
the swinging net breaker, like you said, super kick. She's trying to learn from her boyfriend, Adam Cole, baby. So that was pretty good. Her finisher itself, like the log and everything, when she has to
uh,
put the mouth the
yeah,
hand in the mouth. I find that to be really hard to do. So I think that she needs like a better finisher,
yeah.
something that will be more like a move,
Mm.
rather than a submission hold. I feel that like
Yeah, I mean, she could definitely have both, but
that
yeah,
will fit her. Yeah, like that will fit her more when it comes to winning matches. And I'm just saying that because even playing the game, you just, if you have a submission move, it's way more difficult to get your opponent to submit because you have the other three people, the other two people, I will say, to worry about.
oh yeah, and then, like
So
and Hikaru Shida too, just like all the suplexes and the Tiger Drive, Tiger Driver, all the big moves that she was able, like lifting moves, she was able to deliver to Nyla Rose. Like she's a hell of a wrestler as well. So there you have all these women, and it's like. And they're there each and every week. It's like get the title onto one of them or bring Riho on full time. If you do either or, I won't complain.
no, to me, like my only thing is like she needs to just give up the title, or like the title needs to change onto somebody else, like a Hikaru Shida. Like I said, Nyla Rose, even Britt Baker. But to me, Chris Statlander should be the one that gets the title.
Well, I
Just
think
because.
just yeah, if going into that, I think it's gonna be the whole Brandy Rhodes said she's not done with Chris Statlander, so Statlander's just gonna come out and cost her that match.
I think you're probably in the right path when it comes to that, but I'm hoping that she wins the title. Just for example, like she wins the title and then Brandy Rhodes comes out instead of like Brandy Rhodes being the one that causes the match
I mean,
to
it could
Statlander.
even be something where she asks her beforehand, "Hey, join us," and she says no, and then Awesome Kong comes out and costs her the match.
It could be something along those lines,
Yeah.
but I just feel that like the title on Riho doesn't make any sense because, for example, she doesn't cut promos. We don't know the girl, right?
Hmm.
We don't know her personality. More difficult to actually get behind somebody that I don't even know how she feels, how she talks, what kind of things she says.
Exactly.
And then, we get Nyla Rose that at least we know she has a little bit of personality because she's like heel. She hates everybody. She's power bombing everybody. She's a rebel. And then
Hmm.
we get a Hikaru Shida that at least we know that like her moveset and her wrestling ability is way better than Riho.
Yeah.
And Baker, of course, we know Baker because at least she can cut promos. And we know her from Adam Cole. We know her from all of those things. So
Oh
it's a
yeah.
lot easier to get behind women that are more relatable to us. And that's what I
Oh my
mean.
God.
Riho is there every month. How am I supposed to get behind somebody?
Yeah, exactly. And then right when this thing was over, Nyla Rose obviously pissed. She didn't win. She sets up a table, lays Riho on it, and pretty much, I guess, just you would call it like a splash. She
It's
just
like
kind of
it's like it's
like
not a frog splash. It's just a splash.
yeah, she just kind of got on the top rope and then just fell down and like
Yeah.
splatted Riho right through the table. And so then that was a big selling point. Oh, Riho's hurt next week, and that's why I also think Riho's hurt. She's not going to lose. She's going to win. That's just going to build up Riho even more like, oh, she was able to win and blah, blah, blah. So like, whatever. I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on her, but like you need to do something to get her over more with the fans who aren't just marks, who aren't just AEW fanboys who are like, oh, everything they do is great. Because while everything they do was a lot better than WWE main roster, it's not perfect by any means.
Oh no, no, it's not. No, it's not. Like for example, like see the women's division. We've been saying this ever since we started covering AEW. Is the weakest point that they have. I
Hmm.
mean, this time match wise, it was very very good. It was
Yeah.
very interesting and see. But once again, I will keep reiterating this situation. The match was great because Riho had three more women around her. And
Hmm.
for example, you see the qual. We see bits of quality from Britt Baker. We see bits of quality on Nyla. We see bits of quality on Hikaru Shida. So that's why the whole match tend to be better. It ended
Oh
up
yeah.
coming out way better because if it is Jericho by yourself, it's just stomps, 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 chop, 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 and then roll up, win.
That's what I mean.
I
So like,
don't,
yeah.
I'm not gonna get behind a champion like that. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna happen.
Oh, I agree. So then moving on, then we get Alex Morvez. He interviews Joey Janela, and I don't even know what he asked Joey because I feel like right when he started talking, Penelope Ford just crotched him. She just
Oh
came
yeah,
up and just,
what he said was like, how do you feel about, because I guess in AEW Dark, because see that's the one thing is like, I guess if you want to follow everything that happens on AEW, you gotta watch AEW Dark so you
yeah,
understand a lot of the things that happen on Dynamite. And to me, it does. I understand why they do it, but also like you said it in a lot of our videos. It's like, can we follow all this wrestling?
hmm
And
yeah,
that's
that's what
why
I
like
mean. Yeah.
Alex Marvez goes, how do you feel about the win that you got over Sean Spears?
Oh well, he beat Sean Spears
Because
on.
he beat him like
Yeah,
supposedly he beat him on AEW Dark also. So right away that's when he got low blow by Penelope Ford, and then we get to see Keith Sabian and
yep,
everything. And I guess that's where the storyline is going to go. They're going to go back to this whole thing that they started out. I think even wasn't a Full Gear. I think it was when Full Gear is when they start selling pieces of that, and which okay is understandable. This feud is going to be nice because both of them are young. Both of them like like stream moves, springboard, and everything. So I'm really happy to see this. And also, like you're doing some justice to Joey Janela because he's been putting really good matches with top guys like Moxley, Kenny Omega,
yeah,
even Sean
exactly.
Spears. So I really like this situation with him. This guy deserves more TV time.
Yeah, and then moving on, we just get another quick segment. It's a Dark Order promo. Evil Uno, he's just sitting there. He says how the Elite has fallen, and then they just show highlights from the beatdown 2 weeks ago. Nothing real crazy. That they did a good job editing out all the,
All this
like all the
the bot,
botches and stuff. And
the
yeah,
fake botches. Yeah.
they made it. If we didn't see the episode from 2 weeks ago and we would have just saw this highlight, you would have been like, oh shit, this looks legit.
Oh yeah. Well,
But
at least
apparently, like a lot. I know we didn't really touch on it, but a lot of people were shitting on it. Even Dave Meltzer, who's like the number one fanboy of AEW in the whole universe, he came out and he was like, "You just like you had all the Elite come out there, you had Dustin, you had Cody, you had everybody come out there, and they all just got their ass kicked by the
oh
Dark
yeah.
Order, and it didn't look good. It was just a mess. They said this is like WWE garbage before Royal Rumble. Like, what was the point of this?"
Oh yeah, no, no, it was not good at
So.
all. It was not good at all, and like Mark Henry was shitting on it,
Mhm.
Randy Orton was shitting on it, even Dustin itself. He came out and just like, you're disgracing our profession. He's like,
Mhm.
if you're gonna throw a punch, make sure you like see it good. And the guy that did it, the wrestler that did it, he apologized because I knew that Dustin was already bleeding, so I didn't want to like keep
Well,
adding to
yeah,
that.
this is what they said. Then he was like, "Oh, apparently that guy said that a camera's supposed to have obviously it has like the red dot for its recording, and he thought that the camera that was facing him wasn't recording, so he thought he was in the clear. So he was like just doing fake punches, but
Yeah,
in
so
reality, that's the camera that was on. So
yeah.
is it the camera story or is it Dustin was bleeding? If you're gonna give two different stories, and then it sounds like you're lying.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
absolutely,
So then
absolutely.
the next match, we get because I don't want hey, everybody messes up. This mess up was nothing compared to some of the booking and all the other bullshit WWE has done. So I don't want to sound like I'm shitting on them, but that's just the thing. When you have a show that's good, and then you have something that's bad happen in that show, it stands out.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's like we all messed up. We're all human. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, okay, the guy messed it up. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. So that's the main thing that it needs to happen. This guy and everybody else in AEW needs to be okay. This is how you throw a punch, you
Mm.
know. So that's hopefully we can move on from that because, like I said, everybody's human. We all make mistakes. So moving
Yes.
along, John Paul,
So
we
then we
got
get Trent versus Gian.
Gian. Oh my gosh, when Dustin Roberts did that, I think he was already like he blew up his voice
Yeah,
because
he was
my
done.
God, this guy does that, and that's why I love Justin Roberts. He
Uh-huh.
does that so great. He did that with Cena. He did that with Jim Hardy. That was
Yeah.
awesome. The guy, I love Justin Roberts. So legit. So we
So
got hottest guy on AEW for many for pro wrestling also like the best athlete, the main athlete of 2019, John Moxley. So how was that match, Jean Paul?
It was a great match. It was actually went a little bit longer than I thought it would. Lots of headlock takedowns and just like traditional mat wrestling early on. Exchange of chops from both men. Double knees by Trent. Moxley throws Trent's stomach first into the ropes. Moxley takes control during the break. Hits a superplex on Trent. Moxley whips Trent into the barricade, but then Trent fires back with a spear. I don't like the one, and I know it happened some point, and it happened a lot in the main event. I don't like the no selling of moves.
Oh yeah,
I don't like that. How he got whipped into the barricade and he immediately fired back with the spear, and then Trent hits a half and half suplex, and this is all like he hits that spear, rolls him back in the ring, hits this suplex, and it's like, dude, you just no sold all this offense. Like, what did you get comeback? Like, what happened?
Well, somebody probably was playing the game, dude, and they were like, pressing the buttons, and he got comeback.
That's just the one thing I don't like. Like, maybe sell a little bit. And Trent, he's already been pushed like a superstar. And this match, I think, while it was a great match, it's like, who's Trent? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna?
Trent is from the best friends.
Yeah, but are you gonna push him in a singles role? And Trent's already gotten wins over. He lost to Phoenix, but he beat Pentagon. He had a good match here with Moxley. Like, when are you going to push Chucky or whatever the other guy's name?
Chucky T, Chucky T. And also, like, oh boy, we got to mention that there was that little interaction with Moxley and Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. Don't worry. It's all in the notes. Don't worry. Don't get ahead of yourself, baby.
But, like, the one thing is, like, for example, like, and now that we mentioned just this, Jumpo, okay, can this guy have a match? Orange Cassidy? A lot of people, legit, but like, okay, like, so if that's the case, then you and me should be hanging out with the best friends then. We make, we do like a fake super kick and everything.
Yeah, and then get our ass, so that's what I mean. The crowd is a little marky, how they just love that stuff, because at some point, if that was on WWE, you'd have everyone on YouTube who reviews the shows, they'd be like, well, when are you going to do something? When are you going to do something? But because it's AEW, it's like, oh, it's okay. So I do agree with you there. So then, moving on a little bit more, Trent dives onto Moxley, has a tornado DDT for a 2 count, double underhook face buster onto Trent for a 2 count, tons of counters and pin attempts by both men. Then this is Orange Cassidy. He gets in the ring. I did like when Moxley, when he mocked him though, when he put his hands in his pants.
Yeah.
Got right up. Like, that was kind of funny. And then obviously, like, I thought almost Trent was going to get the win here. Because then Trent, I think he rolled him up, I think he hit like a knee strike, or he did something to him.
Yeah.
But then, here it is. He hits a knee strike and then a pile driver for.
It is a pile driver, yep, for a 2 count. And then near fall.
And then Moxley hits a paradigm shift on the ramp, and then because like I said, the ramp is right there at a level with the apron. Rolls him into the ring, and then he hits another one for the win. So
he did like the short version on the ramp. Yeah. And then the long version, in the ring.
He elevated, or like he like lifts him up and then goes down for the DDT.
Yeah, it's like the elevated version of let's call it how it is, the butterfly DDT.
Yeah.
Dirty deeds for the ones that we saw Dean Ambrose in the WWE, and now we see John Moxley, and now it's the paradigm shift, which is the same move, but it's just like more elevation.
Yeah. So then,
who came out?
So then after the win, out comes Sammy Guevara again. And he mocks Moxley, saying, oh, I know why you come through the crowd. Like, this is awesome. He's like grabbing somebody's Pepsi, their popcorn. And then he says that he's not here to fight. And he says that the Inner Circle, they just have a surprise for him. He doesn't want any trouble. And then he just keeps kind of talking, blah, blah, blah. Then eventually they cut to Jericho. He's on they cut to him somewhere. Yep. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere. He's a 4GT, so he's, somewhere nice. And he says that the Inner Circle. Legit? Yeah, and he said that they're offering him more than any other faction could. The Elite, the Inner, the Dark Order, a ton of factions. And he said that they want him for the Inner Circle. And he's like, you and I can lead. He's like, I'll give you 49% ownership of the Inner Circle. You and I will lead this together. How, like, no one could stop him. Like I said, they got him a 4GT, and he's like, you and I, we can take control of AEW. Yep. And Jericho tells him, make your decision wisely.
He's like, it says, think about it, Mox. The world can be ours. All you have to do is say yes.
Exactly.
He even
And
has the plate number. I mean,
yep,
in the plate,
Mox.
and it says
Yeah.
Mox.
Yeah.
So
So
Mox is legit.
Jericho gets in the car, and then
I
I
would have
think he
joined.
drives away. Yeah.
I would have
And
been.
then
I want to be with Le Champion.
who doesn't? And then Moxley. Then we go back to him, and he says that the truth is he's always considered Jericho a friend, a teacher, a mentor. And he said because of all that, he has respect for him. And he said, he'll give him his answer in person next week. And the crowd was kind of, I don't know. It doesn't sound like they were booing, but it was like,
It just pretty much ruined the decision because they were all wanting, like a right straight no.
yeah, that's what I mean. The crowd, it was out. The crowd, I was surprised by that.
But it's
I
because, see, for
obviously,
example, in
but
this jump ball, he's playing, like kind of like Stone Cold, like
yeah,
he's very smart. He's like, hold on a sec. He's like, pacing himself.
but yeah,
He's
I
like,
mean, but
hey,
see, yeah, I wouldn't have, I just wouldn't have reacted because my immediate thought is, yeah, he's doing this to get Jericho right there so he can fucking dirty deeds him right in the middle of the ring.
but this tells you, Jean Paul, how casual some fans are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know, the ins and outs of wrestling itself. You don't know. They're not immersed in the wrestling mind, in the wrestling. Like I don't want to call it chemistry, but in the ins and outs. Once again, in the concepts, in the
Well, yeah,
basic
like
concepts,
yeah, like the
basic
wrestling
concepts of
mindset.
wrestling.
Yeah.
Is like, okay, like that, like he's playing it off just because next week he's gonna answer. Jericho's gonna be right there. And what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
Kick, paradigm shift, and boom. And there's gonna be
Yep.
my answer is no.
Yep. Exactly.
It's like, how many
The
times have we
wrestling,
seen
it's
this?
the
So
wrestling
many times.
psychology. The wrestling like you need
And
to
the wrestling
understand. Yep.
psychology, that's the word that I was looking for, and it took
Yep.
me like 3-4 minutes to come up
Yep.
with
It
that.
took. Don't worry. It took me the same amount of time too. So.
So the wrestling psychology will tell you that Mox
Mm-hmm.
is gonna do this. But like for people that like were booing, like you said, they didn't understand that because they wanted like a straight, flat out no. But
Yeah.
of course, they didn't do this because Jericho, like you said, was probably outside of a. I don't know. It looked like Miami, but I
Yeah.
don't know where he was. So
Well,
that's
it
what
could have been because they were in Jacksonville, so it could have been in Florida. So yeah,
it,
it probably was.
but it
But
also, like, Jean Paul, that like Revolution is still has like a month.
mm,
It's a month, like 6 weeks or so of
yeah,
build up. So they gotta keep, delaying this. So the
exactly.
main shock. So it's like, okay, Moxley and Jericho for the title. So
Hmm.
they kind of keep pacing this out, which it was good. Jericho once again. This promo, okay, I know it was. I wouldn't call it. It was the greatest promo in the world. It was just to the point because this time he wasn't trying to make fun of anybody. He wasn't trying to be funny. He was just trying to sell an idea.
Yeah,
Moxley,
exactly.
I don't want to give you the inner circle, blah blah blah, and of course Moxley kind of like the one thing is like I don't want him talking that much. When it comes to Moxley, he's like, oh, I consider you a mentor, a friend. I didn't like that too much, but I know why he's doing it. So when he does the paradigm shift, it's
Hmm.
gonna look even better.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah, so moving along, I think they're just gonna keep doing this thing, like I said, to prolong the feud. Because again, 6 weeks of build-up. What are you gonna do with these guys that you already seen each other a few times and everything? So let's move along, Jean Paul, and then we get Dustin Rhodes against Sammy Guevara. So Sammy Guevara was already there. So he was in the ring. He was already waiting for Dustin. His music hits, and then Guevara is just like, okay, where's he at? So he comes down from behind, and then he gets the first shot on Guevara. The and mostly the beginning of the match is just Dusty or Dustin, I should say,
uh
or
huh,
Goldie, however you want to call it. He gets most offense. He dominates in the first leg of the match, and then he gets a clothesline on Guevara out of the floor. Then he hits a cannonball senton off the apron, so that was really cool. Like the guy is, he might be getting older, getting there, but he can still deliver. He
that's the
can
one
still
thing.
deliver.
That's the one thing I want to say before you continue is just how good, how good is he at his age? I know this could just be because he was just sitting on the shelf in WWE and he wasn't being used. And it's like
Yeah,
he didn't put that wear and tear on his body for how many years, just from not, like I said, not being used. But like look at the caliber, like the quality, like this match, just like the quality of this match was a lot better than matches we see on Raw and SmackDown. So it's like
yeah.
look what you had. I mean, obviously they didn't have Guevara, but they had
Oh
Dustin,
yeah,
and they're not
yeah.
doing
Like
nothing with.
and like you said, for
And
example,
look how he comes here and proves himself.
the one thing, the first point that you mentioned, he proves himself. Second point, he can still go. Execution of moves, very good.
Uh-huh.
Promo work, very legit. To the point. He knows what he's doing. Third point, and that's the main point, reinventing himself.
Mm-hmm.
This guy already reinvented himself, going from Dustin Rhodes, the Dusty Rhodes' son, to
Mm-hmm.
a Goldust.
Yeah.
Goldust legit all the run. Towards the end, really crappy with R-Truth. They tried to recreate the thing with Booker T, and
Mm-hmm.
now Dustin Rhodes, but in the same mindset of Goldust, but no, change the colors, change the face paint. Only half of the face is face painted. That's when you see a guy that, like, if I'm WWE, I will never get rid of a guy like that, just because the capacity, the
Yeah.
ability to be
Well,
able
and see,
to
and that that
create new
that
things,
that's the thing that shows.
reinvent.
Yeah, that's the thing that shows how stupid, Vince McMahon or whoever is in charge. I mean, it's clearly
Of
him,
the
but I was gonna
talent.
say,
Yeah,
yeah,
of the talent.
whoever is in charge of all this stuff. I mean, obviously they let Dustin go because they respect him. That was a thing. He asked for his release, and I think Vince said was gonna say no, and Triple H was like, dude, don't be a fucking, don't be a dick. Like, just let him go. Because I know
Yeah.
Triple H was like, just let him go, and they were like, okay, yeah, like we respect you, we'll let you go. But that's a thing where if you have people who are coming to you with ideas saying, hey, like let me like I want to reinvent myself, I want to do this, I want to do that. I don't know why WWE doesn't let people do that. It's
Oh
because they
no,
don't want. It's because Vince doesn't want them to use their idea. He wants them to use his idea.
exactly, and that's the one of the things that I don't understand it. But moving along, then, like I said, the cannonball, and that was like really legit. And then back in the ring, and then we get to see Jake Hager.
Yep.
Jake Hager is right there, and then he's getting into Dustin's attention because, of course, and Taz and Excalibur, Jim Ross, they were all saying, "Remember, this is the guy that broke his hand."
Mm.
So he's here. He's starting, like, the feud keeps going along, and then he hits a spinning power slam on Guevara on the floor. That came out a little crappy, but okay, I'm not gonna like say okay every single move needs to come out perfectly.
Yeah.
So, and then there was an interaction like Rhodes and Jake Hager. They keep staring at each other. Guevara hits a drop kick, and then on Rhodes as we go to the break. Like, that's the one thing is like I don't like when, like, in the middle of the match is like it's getting climatic. It's getting to that point. Oh, as we continue when we go back, and I'm like I lose all of that energy that I've
Yeah. Now,
invested.
now I don't see. That's the whole thing. I don't know if any of these matches are produced fully backstage or if it's all called in the ring. But I don't know why you can't do it. It's like, all right, like maybe every 20 minutes they need to show a commercial, whatever it is. Why can't they say, all right, the beginning of this match is going to be kind of bullshit, whatever, blah blah blah. That's when we'll have the commercial. And then
Yeah,
towards
like
the
I
end,
don't get it.
like get the commercial out of the way during, like, have that be when it's rest hold, or have the ref say, "Oh, we're at commercial. Just do a headlock. Just do a rest hold. Don't
Yeah,
do anything crazy like Canadian destroyers and all this shit." And it's like, what? I missed it because the picture is this big.
yeah, exactly. Like it's like, and is this is more difficult to take notes when you gotta like
Yeah,
be like this and on the TV.
yeah,
So I really don't understand that that logic when it comes to that. And now we're gonna go to that spot that you said, like Dustin hit a Canadian destroyer.
yeah.
That it was absolutely amazing. The guy is legit, and I love how like he's still good to go. So
Hmm.
then going into like the final steps of the match, Rhodes hits Guevara back in the ring, smacks Guevara on the backside, chop to the chest, sets up for Shattered Dreams. I really like that thing. I really like when he went for the Shattered Dreams because I love that move. That move
Yeah.
is just
And
legit.
the ref stopped it though, didn't he? Because
Yeah,
technically it is like a
the
DQ.
referee gets in the way though. Guevara pulls on the ref. Hager gets in there and he hits with a low blow on Rhodes, and then Guevara gets the pin and the win.
Hmm.
So you can see like the whole thing is gonna keep going. Guevara finally gets a win on Dynamite, which is good for Guevara because, like you said, he might be talented and everything in the ring, but like all the time he's been losing, so it's difficult to get behind the Sammy Guevara that loses, whereas the Sammy Guevara that wins and still a prick. So
Exactly.
yeah, so moving along, we got a thing on backstage at a bar, and Jen Decker, she's talking to Private Party and asks about how about their 2020 goals. What are you guys gonna do? Like you guys you had a wonderful 2019. You pinned the Young Bucks, so they go compliment Decker, and then you see Adam Handman Page. He shows up at the bar behind him. Private Party are in three-wheel Page, and then just showing up during their promo, and they're not saying even hi. So they feel
Mm.
like he's got a problem. He says he could kick both of their asses and storms off. He comes back with his drink, and then Cassidy says Page is gonna pay for his comments to them. So
Yeah.
like we get to see another rivalry that kind of like, okay, we don't understand where this is coming from.
Yeah,
or
and I
why
don't.
this
I
situation
think
took place.
this is just to get Private Party on TV again because they're not in really any feud or storyline. So this is just to get them on TV, and then it's gonna just because it's gonna be Cody or not Cody. I'm sorry, Kenny and Hangman Page are going against Private Party. So this will just be for the whole like the to continue because I think that'll be the match at Revolution. I've been saying for weeks is going to be Kenny versus Hangman Page.
Madam Pam, yeah, I think it's like
So
they just keep doing these
so,
matches to
so
have the
this is
interaction.
just yeah. This to me is just to build that because I feel like maybe like who knows maybe Hangman's going to try to beat both Private Party and he's going to loot like get pinned or something's going to happen. The match is going to break down, and I
Exactly.
think it's
So
just going to be to continue that feud.
yeah, so like that's what we're gonna get. We got a lot of matches already for next
Hmm.
Dynamite. We're gonna have Riho with Chris Statlander for the women's championship. We're gonna have Christopher Daniels and Sammy Guevara, and now we're gonna have Private Party, Kenny Omega, and Adam Hangman Page in a tag match. So that's
Yep.
good, like you said, just to get these guys back on TV. So
Hmm.
we get now MJF and Wardlow. They head to the ring. MJF is gonna finally announce his stipulations to wrestle Cody. So MJF comes out and then he has a woman kiss his ring and then kisses him. So he offers the ring to another woman who passes MJF and snaps one of the fan signs. And then he comes out and then he starts talking about the stipulations. And then the first stipulation that he calls about is like it has to be on AEW Revolution. So we knew that. Okay, so
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
out of the ordinary. We knew that. And then if Cody even touches him, there's not going to be a match at Revolution. So
Hmm.
you can say it's like if you even touch me, So see, that's old school mentality.
Yeah. I
You
like that.
understand?
Like the Triple H and Stone Cold.
Batista, Stone Cold is like if you two touch each other before the pay per view, no match. Everything
Hmm.
is canceled. So that's old school mentality. At least that's legit. I really appreciate
Yeah.
that.
So
That's
did
cool.
I. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like not the WWE of nowadays.
Hmm.
Like the Raw, the SmackDown before the pay per view, we get a tag match with the people that are going to be involved in singles
Yeah.
match.
Exactly. Which is so
So
stupid, but.
exactly. So he says MJF says like Cody has to face Wardlow, and this time he has to beat him, and he's going to be in the steel cage match. So in the last one, that's the next stipulation. They said he wants Cody to get down on all fours, and MJF is going to whip him 10 times. So that's going to be the next. Those are the things that like he says, and those are the stipulations. Do we think it's going to be cool? This time MJF to me he looked really good, but I don't think the crowd was like really into the thing. So for
Yeah,
me,
the crowd didn't pop. I was excited for the steel cage match. Obviously, like you said, the first stipulation was like, yeah, no shit, we already know Revolution, blah blah blah. The whole whipping him thing. I mean, that's just something is going to happen where I feel like Dustin or somebody's going to come up and kick MJF's ass. Somebody who's on Cody's team, or that's when Arn Anderson will hit the spine buster on to MJF because MJF's a small guy. It makes sense. Arn Anderson could easily hit the spine buster on him. So, like, that's what I feel like that's what that segment is for. The main stipulation I liked was the steel cage match.
that's
Because
going to be cool because it's going to be the
one,
first
yeah,
steel cage match on
exactly.
AEW too.
Like you said, the first steel cage match, and of course, maybe I'm just being who I am, but of course, Cody has to be in the first steel cage match. So Cody's in this match, and it'll be a good show for Wardlow. And obviously, Cody has to win for this match, so he's going to beat Wardlow. And again, Arn Anderson could get involved, and also, Cody can win without pinning Wardlow. So then Wardlow he won't look as weak.
Yeah, that's going to be because it's going to be like you said a good showing for Wardlow, but at the same time it's going to be probably his first match and he's going to lose
Yeah, he's going to
unless they
have to
have one or
lose.
two matches in the next
And
Dynamite,
and also,
so he
what's the
can get
thing with
acquainted.
I didn't see nothing that like because normally when someone signs to AEW, they release a big thing. Was the Butcher and the Blade only 2 weeks? We got to ask Tom to ask his friend the Blade
I know we
because it's
gotta.
like what was that? Was that like you won your first week, then your second week you lose, and then now you're out the door?
No, I don't
Because
think so because I just feel Ali is still with them,
yeah,
so I think
I
that
was
like
just gonna say, but what was the point of turning Ali heel if that's the case? But I would have liked to see, are they just mercenaries? Maybe they don't actually work for MJF and they're just their own little group of three, and
yeah.
they just, they do whatever. But to me, that reminds me like a Sanity, and they're already booking them how WWE booked Sanity on the main roster.
I
They
hope
show
they
up
don't do that.
and then done.
I hope they don't do that. So Let's move on, Jean Paul. Jen Decker once again backstage. She's talking to Jungle Ball about even able to last 10 minutes with Le Champion Chris Jericho. Jungle Ball says he did what he set out to do in 2020. He's looking for some wins. He says that like it will be a big year for the Jurassic Express. So
Mhm.
I'm really hoping that it is the truth. In fact, the Jurassic Express, he was very promising at the beginning of AEW. So I really feel that like they need to fulfill that promise for them and for the fans. Of course, Luchasaurus getting injured kind of like delayed this situation for the Jurassic Express, but I'm really hopeful for the future for them.
Yeah, and I mean you could book these guys. You could do the Jurassic Express. You could do some like 3-team tag team match for the championships, and then they could pin whoever, and the Jurassic Express could get the belt. Like you could give the belts to them. The one thing I don't want to see them do is I don't want to see them split. Obviously, I don't want to see them just do like the Kofi Kingston thing, where they kind of split Jungle Boy off, and he's the single star, and then you have
Marco
Luchasaurus
Stunt and
and Marco
Luchasaurus.
Stunt, because then Marco Stunt will clearly be like the Enzo Amore, the whatever, the smaller guy who just gets beat up, beat up, beat up, beat up. A little bit of offense here, a little bit, Hurricane Rana, or an arm drag, whatever, a sling blade, whatever the hell his moveset is, and then Luchasaurus comes in and cleans house. Like I never liked that dynamic. I never liked the one little guy and the one big guy because there's always an obvious what's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I like to see if the Jurassic Express just all sticks together. But I do agree, I do want to see them get wins because I do like, as a unit, I do like all of them, but I really do like, Luchasaurus. I feel like if any of them needs to be split off, it should be him.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Jean Paul. Absolutely. So now we go back to Adam Hammond Page. He is a little tipsy, Jean Paul.
Yeah,
He was drinking from like it's still January 1st.
yeah.
So he got
I
a
was
few
I was
drinks
right there. I
himself.
was right there with him.
Yeah, we are. I remember you said that. So we're all like drunk, done, and of course he's tipsy. He joins the commentary for the main event,
Oh, well,
and we
before you
see
get into that,
finally
before we get
Riho.
into that, is this the Riho?
Yeah, it's Riho. Riho's
Oh, okay,
coming.
okay,
Riho's
okay.
coming, Jean Paul. And then she's asked about next week's then the match that he's gonna have with Chris Stanlander, and then Britt Baker shows up out of nowhere. She's interrupted, and then she says she's unhappy about how like you said Rico's never there. He's like you're not here on a regular basis, and then she goes like she says like oh yeah I don't like also like something with your teeth or something like that, and then she just goes off.
Oh, no, no. She says no, no, no. She doesn't insult her. She says that she's like, I can be here. She's like, I went and I became a dentist. Wow. She's like, you can't be here full time because you have to, you're too busy doing other things. They didn't mention Stardom, or I don't even know if she actually wrestles in Stardom. I don't know
Yeah.
what she does, but they said they didn't actually mention it. But she said, I went and I got like what her degree to become a dentist all while wrestling. And she's like, I'm still here. I'm a dentist. I still do all this stuff, but I'm still here. Like, why? Like, if I can do it, why can't you?
Yes, and then you just see Riho that she's really sad about Baker's words.
Mm-hmm.
So also like we get the notice that next week Cody and Dustin Rose are gonna go against the Lucha Bros. So we get to see that one. It's gonna be a good match, of course, but like we said again, the same guys are being paired up with each other. So I need to see something a little different for me. They're using all the main event caliber guys with each other. And one of the things that they should do is just use some kind of like the not so well-known talent go with a well-known talent. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
why you have to have these tag matches that at the end they're kind of meaningless for me. I mean the show to me they need to have sense from the beginning to the end. And I'm like, okay, why are you having a tag match now with the Lucha Bros? What's the story behind this?
And to me, the whole main event was just this was just the feel good moment. You had like the heel, clearly all the heels. You had the Lucha Bros and Pac versus Kenny and the Elite. It was all the Elite. They came out together, and it was all just like, hey, this is the first episode of the new year. This is just a feel good thing. With the heels are going to put on a good show. It'll be a great match, which it was. This was a fantastic match. But the faces are going to come out strong at the end. Everyone's going to go home happy.
Oh
And
yeah, for
that to me,
example,
it really wasn't anything storyline wise because it wasn't like Pac pinned Kenny and that continues their feud because Kenny's also feuding with Pac. There was no thing with that. So
oh no, yeah, I agree with you. Like 100%. No need for that. Let's go over some moments of the match. The one
mhm.
thing, of course, like you said, Young Bucks You put Lucha Bros in the same, building, put it in the same mix, big high moves and perfect execution. That's what you're gonna
Hmm.
see. The brothers hit stereo Canadian destroyers on the Lucha Bros. So that's
Hmm.
a big spot that you get from the Young Bucks when the Lucha Bros. Again,
Exactly.
Canadian Destroyer, Panama Sunrise, Panama City, however
Hmm.
you want to call it, is becoming like the most well overdone move
Oh
in
yeah.
wrestling right now because everybody's just overdoing the move. It goes from like being a very dangerous move, so now everybody has to do it.
Exactly.
I don't get why you have to keep repeating yourself. I mean, like Adam Cole does that move. Why am I, if I'm Nick and Matt Jackson, why am I supposed to do the same move? I should be doing something else. I get the super kicks and everything, but don't be doing again the same move all over and over again. And like you said to me, and he will be saying to all of the family, if it doesn't finish people, don't be using the move.
Hmm.
It's like the stunners, it's like the cutters. If it doesn't finish somebody, don't use it. So we get, Omega. He gets back in the ring against Pac. Omega offers Pac to throw a shot. Back and forth strikes. Pac with a snap German suplex. He misses an insecurity and needs a knee strike to the back of the head. Then the Snapdragon suplex by Kenny. Kenny hits that thing like nobody. You
And
know,
that was the one I think when Pac he hit that Insiguri on Kenny, and I think Kenny no sold it. Or did he
yeah,
not? He hit the Snapdragon. I mean, he hit the Snapdragon on Kenny,
yeah.
and it wasn't like I don't think he landed on his feet. I'm pretty sure he hit it, and Kenny popped right back up like a fucking weeble wobble. He popped right back up, and then he hit a Snapdragon of his own, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he did a
You
Snapdragon
just
of his own, and then he did a sit down power bomb for a near fall, and then Pentagon did with a big kick to the Omega's head. Pentagon we did the sling blade, of course that's legit on both of the Young Bucks. See that was a combined sling blade, very cool
Mhm.
move. Then Omega with a boob to the Pentagon's midsection, and then he hits a backstabber. So in the match, of course, we know that it was legit. We know
Oh
everything.
yeah.
So let's say
All six dudes in this are just so legit. Main event.
his main event, and all of them, very very good. And then the last sequence of the match, Phoenix tags in, Pentagon is a double super kicks, and then Phoenix with a double cutter on Matt and Nick. See, once again, Carter, we keep seeing the move. Come on,
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
saying.
don't mind it because it's just almost like a neck breaker, except you leave your feet. It's just, yeah, like that I don't mind. But the Canadian Destroyer is like you're dropping somebody like directly on their head, and like it's just I don't know. It's just
It's
some
just
moves
like every promotion is doing it because we go WWE, Adam Cole does it. Then
Mhm,
we go into like NWA, the Rock and Roll Express does it. Then we
mhm.
go to AEW, like Young Bucks do it. Come on, it's like we need to like come on, like
Yeah.
each. I feel that like there's more variety of moves. Focus on other moves also. So Omega with a Snapdragon on Phoenix, then a Rolling Cutter for Phoenix. Pac tags back in the Black Arrow. He hits the Black Arrow, which he does beautifully. I love that move.
Oh my
And
God,
then
yeah, he's so
goes for the
talented.
pin. The Bucks break up the pin and do double super kicks on Pentagon. Phoenix tags in. He flies in off the top rope and needs a big kick to the face. Omega sets up for the one wing angel, and they protect that move like no other move in professional wrestling for the 1, 2, 3. So then, of course, Kenny Omega and the Bucks get the big win. The Elite, they're, like you said, they're the vice presidents of the company. Feel good moment. They got to do it. Everybody goes home happy. And then post match, Cody comes out and celebrates with the group. Then Paige tells the commentary he's heading out. The guys are calling for Paige to come in the ring, but Paige gives the thumbs up. And then he says, I didn't do anything, though, so he doesn't go to the ring. So you could see, the seeds being planted. He's part of
Mhm.
the group, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be part of the group. He doesn't want to
But
celebrate.
yeah, and the thing I really like this Hangman Page, this whole new because I don't like a baby face that's just like a baby face, and he was never like that. He was never just the typical baby face. He was always like the cowboy shit and all that other cool stuff. But I like this kind of character change because at some point in our life, we've all kind of been where he's at, where it's like, yeah, we have a group of friends, but it's like, do they really care about me, or am I just there because we're a group, like And they're like, oh yeah, come to the ring, and it's like, why? You guys don't really care.
Or
You
like like you said,
like
for example, it's like no, I don't like. See, the main line right here is like, I didn't do anything,
yeah, that's what
so
I mean.
why
Like
should I come
yeah,
out?
and they're
Why
just
should I
calling
join?
him there to be because it's like, oh, you're with us, you're in a group, and it's like, but I didn't even do anything. Like, just let me, like, just yeah, like
It's like when I do something, it's like I'll join.
yeah.
For example, if you get in an AOR, you know what I'm
Mhm.
talking about.
Yeah.
If you get in any test, in any supervision, if you get anything in like anything that is about a big thing at work, and you get all A's and everything, but you weren't there. Let's say it was your day off, and everybody's like, yeah, well, you gotta join, you gotta be with us. You're like, I didn't do anything. I don't want to
Yeah.
be there because I wasn't there. So the feeling that Adam Hanman Page is having is very understandable. And like you said, we all been there. So
Hmm.
you see the seeds planted. He's starting to turn right there. To me, I'm not gonna call him he's a heel, but I'm just saying you can see that like there's a heel, turn in the
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. And like at this, I don't, because he didn't, like, 2 weeks ago when Kenny was getting beat down and stuff backstage, is just like, I don't understand. Like, I wouldn't have turned him heel, but because he helped Kenny and all that. But it's just, maybe just do like change him up a little bit so he's just like kind of breaks away from the elite, like just an attitude change, but still like face. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we'll see where they go. I'm definitely
We'll see
excited,
where
and
they go.
yeah.
So yeah, any closing thoughts, Jean Paul? Any
No,
closing thoughts on the
just like
show?
I said, it was a good. They made it. They got the bad taste out of our mouth. The only shame for 2 weeks ago is just because it was the closing segment was the one that went out so bad. But this,
Yeah.
we
Uh,
moved on from it. There was a lot of good on this show. They touched on a lot of things that we said, especially with the women's division, with Britt Baker coming out, calling out Riho. That was really good. So I think they're moving in the right direction. Like every week, they move in the right direction. So
Oh yeah, like and also like just to close this whole thing, like again, great show, like you said, very enjoyable, and like the one thing is like they are listening to the fans. They're
hmm
not turning their heads to the other side, and they're not paying attention to what we have to say. They're really actually caring for we as fans want from them, and that's good, and that's the same attitude that you and me have. Every time we say to all of you, watch the videos, comment on it, tell us what we do, what we did right, what we're not doing right, because we want
hmm
to put a better quality product. We want to put the best of ourselves, and I feel that AEW is doing that. So Jean Paul, you and me, of course, we will come back for more stuff. We have SmackDown. We're going to be covering Wrestle Kingdom. That's going to be big. And for all of you, like you see in the thing right there in the screen, please subscribe also, and you can follow us on social media. Where Jean Paul?
with Facebook, Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, and the original Rope Break Instagram.
That's right. And all of you, again, thanks for the support. We're like growing, and that's because all of you, and that's for you, Jean Paul, that's for me. We're all a family here, so when you and me win, everybody else wins. And I
hmm
hope that this show was good for you guys. Once again, we'll be back. I'm gonna try to be on AEW more because I know Jean Paul, like he says, like he enjoys the company. I enjoy his company also. So guys, thank you very much. We'll be back with you guys soon. And in the name of Jean Paul and myself, we both want to say
Uh,
Ah,